Education is believed to be one of the major keys to progress. When a child learns how to read and write, he gains the power to improve himself positively, his community, and even his family. Hi everyone, my name is Blessed Nim Iverin and welcome to Ignition 633 Ministries. In this video, we'll be talking about education and its impact in a Nigerian child's life. For millions of Nigerian children, learning is a daily struggle because at 60%, people living in Nigeria live below poverty line, and education is most times not a priority in most homes because where we parents get money to sponsor their children in school. And illiteracy in the country is at high rates, and it's difficult for parents to get jobs because they do not even have certificates to get jobs, to earn money to sponsor their children in school, and this becomes an issue. That is why we see most little kids hawking on the road just to get money to bring back to the family so they'll be able to get food and eat.
The business is not moving and we have to pay their school fees. That is why you see some children are still at home. They don't go to the school. Some start this second term instead of first term because of school, because of money. There is no money for the parents to put their children. So we are finding it difficult for our children to go to school. Formerly, it was not like this. It was so easy. But now, according to the economic situation of this country, it's not easy at all. But we have to train the children because I didn't go to school and I'm happy to see my children going to school. That is why I am struggling to see that she go to school. As a female child, I can't just leave her like that. Children that are not in school, some of them are pushing wheelbarrow inside. Some of them have just decided to join these court boys and be smoking, drinking, is their ego, hiding it. But that thing now is not even hiding something again. It's rampant. Every angle you go now, you will see youth smoking, drinking, use their sachets, gogoro, all these type of things. Instead of, some of them are graduates, but there is no work for them.
Many public schools lack books, desks, and even classrooms. Some students are forced to learn under trees. And you know this is not effective in learning because if you're under a tree in an open space, in an informal setting, learning, you are open to a lot of distraction. The cars are passing, people are passing, there is noise coming from different areas and it distracts a child from learning, and that is a major issue. And most classes are overcrowded with more than 30 to 90 children in one classroom, making learning process difficult and making the environment very uncomfortable for children. Even teachers do not find this funny because the workload becomes overwhelming for them and it affects the process of impacting knowledge to the children. Another problem we face in the educational system is lack of trained teachers. So even schools find financing difficult to pay qualified teachers, so they go for whoever is available to impart knowledge in people. Also, inspections of these teachers have reduced because they are leaders who really pay no concern of whatever is happening in the educational system. They just sit in their offices and take out money that is meant to improve educational system to their self, and this is where corruption comes in, and that is another problem that we are facing in our educational system. If money is available, resources will be made available. High qualified teachers will be hired to impart knowledge to these children, but because of corruption, we encounter this problem in almost every schools that we have in Nigeria. Why Nigeria is facing this struggle, Ignition 633 Ministries, in partnership with the Kende Avesi Foundation and the Religious Freedom Coalition, has come together to set up a well-furnished block of 3 classrooms at Daudu 2, where one of the IDP camps are located. With this structure, children have access to education for free, and there are high trained teachers who are placed there to give this education to the pupils that are available. We thank God for this partnership because it has, to a large extent, solved the part of the problems we are facing in the educational system. It is very difficult for the IDP camps to have access to formal education. So this development have helped a lot in that part. Our prayer is that God will intervene in the economic situation of the country and poverty will no longer be an issue in the educational system in Nigeria. We have the principal of our amazing crèche department at Ignition 633, who is Mr. Solomon, and he will be sharing with us the challenges facing the educational system, since he was once a principal before joining us at Ignition 633 Ministries.
I am by name Mr. Solomon Shimaye Nawotwaf, the principal of crèche Ignition 633. We in Nigeria, most of the problems we face in the educational system are so enormous that if we keep talking about them till tomorrow, we won't be able to finish. First, lack of facilities, which is the most important thing. You go to schools, government-established schools, and you will discover that most of the time students are sitting on the floor. There are no furniture for them to make use of them. In as much as the world is being digitalized, go to most government schools established today, you find out that there are no ICT units, there is no even a single desktop, talk more of a laptop for students to be able to access the internet. That has posed a serious challenge and making the Nigerian student find it difficult to compete with the global world and the emerging things of the ICT in the world. If you come to a challenge here, lack of manpower. Most schools are understaffed. Why? Because the government is reluctantly first to recruit people who will take over these schools. There are a lot of people who are retired, there are a lot of workers who have died. Yeah, the government failure to recruit people who will fill in this vacant has actually posed a challenge, serious challenge on the existence of schools in Nigeria. And when we want to talk about the big aspect of it, which is the finance, now most parents can't equally afford the school fees to pay their children because people are now basically living from hand to mouth. So most of the number of out-of-school children has seriously rising up, most especially in the northern part of Nigeria, which Benue State is inclusive. People can no longer go to their farms because of insecurity. Most of the persons who have been to schools in the past years, what they do is basically they go to farms, harvest the crops, and they are able to pay their school fees. Myself, who is the principal of the school in Ignition today, happens to be the beneficiary from the farm. Basically, my parents, from primary school to secondary to tertiary institution, basically my school fees was paid from farm produce. But what happens now is about how many years I've not stepped my leg in my village. Most of people from my village, the children no longer go to school because there is no money to pay for the tuition fees. There's no money, nothing to raise. There's nothing you can lay your hands on that you can go to the market to say in order to train a child. This has seriously become a problem in the Nigerian sector, especially in the area of education. And another aspect mostly is some parents are so reluctant in sending their children to school. We can't deny that fact because you go to families, some will tell you that we have seen graduates who are finished from good universities, yet they are not they're not having gainful employment. As such, there's no point for my child to go to school. It's also a challenge because for a parent to have that mentality of not sending a child to school just because there are other persons who have graduated and they are not getting jobs alone shows that there is a challenge. There is something that is affecting the educational sector in Nigeria. Another aspect that we can look at it that seems to be very common is that children alone, their mindset of going to school. Some are not really ready. They go to school and there are ways they behave, and when you talk to them, the next day you won't see them again. But thank God for Ignition 633. Here in Ignition 633, in as much as they are just, let me say, we are just starting. When you go to class, the children have a lot of toys that they can play with. The children have a conducive environment they can learn. The children have fine furniture they can interact with. The environment is so conducive. The environment is so friendly. The toys are available for them. And then the teachers, the nannies are being so dedicated to their duties. They are the eyes. The security, they take the security of the children to be their priority. And as such, has made it very good and very nice that we have such an environment here. So thank you for Ignition 63 for establishing such a very good environment, very good atmosphere, where the children or the staffers are gaining such a wonderful knowledge in the area of education. And we pray and ask that tomorrow God will touch them, and then we have a lot of funds where we set up a very standard school like other missionaries have been doing. And as a missionary work, we have a very standard school so that we will be able to train a good number of students who will carry the identity of the Ignition 63, which will not be the ministry, but in the educational sector and other areas of life. Thank you very much.
We also pray for a better Nigeria where education will become a priority to all, because investing in schools, training teachers, and reducing class sizes can pave way for a better future. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you continue to join us in prayer even as we continue the work of God in Nigeria.